Alright, so we're going to start putting this thing together. You actually just need, right now, the burlap, a pair of scissors, and your wire wreath. Because we have to get the base, which is the burlap, on here first. So if you notice, there are these lovely little sections of wire here that holds the wreath together. You're going to be tying your burlap to these wire sections. So you're going to take one piece of burlap, and this edge is all finished so it doesn't fray on you. You're going to want that because you don't want a really raggedy looking burlap wreath. So you're going to take your burlap and you're going to cut it to make two separate pieces because we want something to tie. So then you're going to take your wreath, you're going to slide the burlap up through here, and notice I'll have it attached to this metal one right here. So then you just have to tie it off, which sounds simple. It's really not. Burlap is not the easiest thing to try and tie, but you can do it. And you want it facing towards the back because you don't want it showing on your front. But burlap, of course, you can move it around, and I kind of goofed there, so I have to move it to my next one. But you'll notice now I can't tug it anywhere. It's actually going to stay where I want it to stay, which is the nice thing about burlap. So that's one neutral. Now you want to have a stripe of red down the middle. That's what we're going to do. So this is a two-tone burlap wreath. So I need to cut my red and put it on here too. You're actually going to be working with two colors at once, which sounds pretty complicated, but I found this method is easier than using just one color of burlap, because you have 3 loops and you've only got one roll, and I don't know, it just seemed much more complicated when I was doing one color for my start wreath than it was doing 2, because I have made a 2-toned wreath before doing this one in front of this video. So we're going to tie the red in here, just like we did the plain. So now I've got my 2 colors. I'm going to shove the red down, shove that down so it doesn't show up, and then we can get started. So the burlap wreath itself is just a series of loops. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your plain, and notice I have my 3 sections here. You're going to take your plain and you're going to move it up and form a loop out of the burlap. And you want to see, okay, what kind of size do I want? Do I want it really big? Do I want it smaller? The bigger the loops, the less burlap you use, so the more money you save. It just depends on how tight you want it. I make mine, I don't know, 3-4 inches. It's not really a measurement. I kind of just guess. So you do the same thing for your red, but we're going to actually make the second loop of cream or neutral. So I like making the neutral loops first for a little bit and then putting the red in. So I'm going to take this neutral, which we have up through here, and I'm going to bring it around the red and up. So it's going to make a loop right here. Now this is the hard part to show. It's the hard part to explain because not a lot of people understand this step. Other videos I've seen, it's hard to show this step. And now I'm taking my red, which is kind of doing it for me, which is nice. So right now I have 3 loops, 2 neutral and 1 red. And I'm eyeballing it. I notice this neutral is a little small, so I'm fluffing it up and moving it. And there you go. And notice I'm not using any florist wire to tie this down. This is all very loose. The only thing holding this burlap here is these 2 knots that I started with. And when you go all the way around the edge, you're actually going to cover these 2 knots and you won't even know they're there. If you do still see them after you end, we can actually stick a ribbon there or a bow or a star, and no one's going to know where you started. So to do another loop, I've got my 2 neutral and my red. Notice that I've ended my neutral over here. So I need to go back over on this side to seal it, because if you actually put another loop right next to each other, you'll undo this loop, and you don't want that. So I'm going to take my neutral, slide it back underneath the red again, and slide it up the outside, and pull through. And you're making another loop. So it kind of looks like that in the middle right now. And then you're going to slide it back over, holding on to your other one, because you don't want to make the mistake of putting them out. So it looks really funny right now. It's going to look like that, and you're going to be like, whoa, this looks really bad. That's not true, because what you do is you just scrunch. And I move the red over that middle section, and it's going to make another cute little... Oh, whoops, I'm coming up the wrong way with this red. The center one is the hardest one to actually figure out, because I actually have to slide the red up this outside edge, bring it up, and through this one. It's really weird, but in order to get the red to work, I don't know if you can see that, so I'll do it again. You're looping the red through the middle and outside wires to make it the two-toned. So again, I've got my neutral on this side. I'm bringing it up through this side's middle part here. And I'm making a loop. Whoops, I actually goofed. So I've already started on that side. I have to redo this loop. And I need to go to the outside. And you actually have to come up with a system on how to get your hands to work, because, like I said, you're switching back and forth, you're going to tangle your burlap, and it's going to be an interesting situation until you figure out what system works the absolute best for you. The first time I did a burlap wreath, it took me 4 hours. My second one took me 3. So we'll see how long this one ends up taking me, because in all honesty, I don't want another 4-hour burlap wreath, because, well, as much as I like doing this, I like seeing the finished product a lot faster. So again, I'll show you this middle one. My red is on this side. So now I can just bring it up in the middle again and make another loop. And you're going to continue doing this throughout this whole wreath. So I'm probably going to stop now, do a bunch, and then I will show you about halfway through what your wreath should look like.